Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at another Android Auto / CarPlay screen that seem to be becoming really popular these days for motorcycles. There's quite a lot of them on the market now. What we're having a look at today is this one here, which is the RC12 by Lamtto. And now this has been sent to me by the company. They reached out and asked if I would like to review it for them, and I said yes, I'd have a look. So this one comes with a couple of dash cams as well, front and rear facing dash cam, a remote control on the handlebars, and it's also got a 5.5 inch touchscreen. So we'll have a look at this, get it unboxed, get it fitted in the bike. We'll go out for a ride with it as well, see what the quality of the cameras is like, and I plan to use this for quite a wee while before I actually bring you the review, so hopefully you'll get some decent opinions of my usage on it and what I actually think of it. So let's get it unboxed. Okay, so here we have the box itself. It's a fairly plain box, just with some graphics in the front. There's no spec and anything like that on it, apart from saying it's touchscreen, DVR and IP67 waterproof. Connects via Bluetooth, supports CarPlay, Android Auto, supports Siri and Google Voice Assistant. So there we go, let's get it out and have a look. So what we have in the box, 24-month warranty card, so you can scan it with the QR. Hopefully I won't have to use that. Decent packaged. And here we have the screen itself. So as I said, this is a wee bit smaller than some of the other ones. I've got a CarPlay 7-inch which I use. This is a 5.5 inch. I must say right off the bat, the build quality in this feels really nice. I've got a connection for the cameras and things to go into, but we'll get to that later on. And the mount on the back. Okay, so let's continue on and see what else is in here. Lots by the looks of it, so one of the cameras. Looks to be a wiring one. That's another one of the cameras. That's the mount for attaching it onto your bike. That looks like the cables that run from the camera to the device. That would appear to be, I can't tell, I guess, oh aye, that's the handlebar remote control. And of course, the instruction manual. Right, this looks to be pretty comprehensive, it's certainly big. I'll have a good look at that and we'll see what the English is like in it, if it's good quality English or if it's Chinese English, we'll see. It doesn't appear to come with a memory card, so you'll need to supply your own memory card, unless of course there's one in it. Let's have a look. Alright, so you need to unscrew it at the bottom here to check, so we'll just do that. Okay, I've managed to get the waterproof cover off, and I can confirm there is a 64 gig card in it, no brand or name as you would expect. Right, so we'll get all the bits out, have a look at it and see how we're going to install it on the bike. Okay, so what I've done here is I've fitted the remote control, just screws on with some wee rubber inserts to hold it tight in the bar, and it's pretty solid. 3 buttons, it looks like a home button, a call button, and I don't know what that was, maybe a mode switch, but we'll check that out later, so that's quite neat. Now I've attached the mount onto the bars, so the mount you get with it is this thing here. You can only mount it up and down the way, it's not got an option to put it sideways and then adjust the head or anything round, which would be quite useful if you could do that, but it looks like you're kind of stuck up and down. So just bolts on with 2 bolts through the back, and there's plenty of inserts to adjust the size. Now I was quite tight because I've got bark busters on, I've got the metal bracket here, so I don't have a huge amount of space, but it did fit in. Personally, I prefer to run a screen kind of mounted higher up above the main speedo. So if you wanted to do that, you would have to look at another option for mounting it somehow to try and adapt this to get it to fit on, but it's easy enough to fit. So that's there, the remote's there, so let's see what the screen looks like when it's in place. Okay, so that's the screen installed in place there. It just bolts in with 1 bolt through the back, and it's fairly sturdy, not too much movement in it. It might vibrate a bit when the bike's moving, but all screens do that unless they're clamped in two places. Right, so let's see what we can do about running the wiring loom to get this connected up for power, and see about getting the cameras installed front and back. Right, I've come across a problem. This is the connection that goes into the side of the unit. You can see it's supposed to go in there. If you can see that hole. I've been trying for about half an hour and I cannot get that to go in there. It's just, I don't know, just won't go in. You would think a connection like that would just slot in dead easy, but I've tried it both ways up and I cannot get it to go in. You can actually see it on the plastic around the edge of the plug where it's starting to deform, and if I look inside there I can see kind of wee scrape marks where it's been hitting and rubbing. So I don't know what's going on, but I'll keep trying, and if I can't get it to go in, I can't use it, because that's the only way of getting power into it. So I don't know if it's just this one unit or if anyone else is having problems. So if anyone's got one of these and has tried this, let me know how you get on. I'm curious.
One eternity later.
Right, wee update. I got it in. It took a huge amount of force, and I actually at the end bashed it with my rubber mallet, and it went in, and it seems to be well bedded in now. Again, it has to be tight to be waterproof, but that seems a bit excessive. So I just hope I haven't damaged anything in the process of doing that, but we'll see in due course. But it is in. Okay, on to the next bit. Okay, so what I've done here, just for the purpose of the video, I've just connected this up to the battery, just temporarily. So the accessory line I've connected up to the positive, because you need a positive feed going into the accessory to get the unit to switch on, because there isn't a dedicated on and off button. So I've done that, and as you can see, it's powered up. So this is just the home screen just now, no cameras or anything connected, so it's just the home screen of the unit. I've not paired anything yet, so it's just, this is as it is when you switch it on. So you've got your CarPlay functions. If you swipe across here, when you swipe, you can't swipe the whole screen. This wee image of the bike there, that's basically dead space, so you just swipe in this section here to move it back and forth. And this is your pre-installed options: CarPlay, Android Auto, Wi-Fi, video, audio output. So what we'll do is I'll get my phone and we'll look at pairing up my phone to this device. Let's just do CarPlay. So there we go. You can see it's changed there, and that's just synced up to my phone to Metallica, which it was playing first a wee while ago. And I've got my standard apps here. So I use Scenic for my sat nav when I'm out and about, so this is kind of the basic CarPlay options that I've got set up here. So initially the screen looks quite nice, it looks nice and bright. You can also adjust your brightness and things on the screen, but we'll get to that in a wee while. So I'm going to plug in the cameras just to see what the picture quality like is then initially, and then we'll see about tidying up some of this wiring. Okay, to install the cameras, it's just a self-adhesive pad. I don't know if it's a 3M pad or a generic version, but I always find it's best to heat these up before you put them on, so that they get a better stick. So I've already cleaned and degreased the area where I'm going to put it. You also get some self-tapping screws that you can screw in through the slots, but I'm not going to do that just now until I decide if I want this to be a permanent fixture or not. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this stuck on. Okay, just before you stick it on, just go ahead and make sure you are putting the right one on the back at the end of for the connection, as it will say front and rear, so that's obviously rear. So we'll go ahead and we'll heat this up and we'll get it stuck on into place. Just make this glue a bit warm. It doesn't have to be bubbling hot or anything, but just a bit of heat into it. If you're doing this in a garage or somewhere, just make sure you don't set the place on fire. Okay, that's quite warm, so make sure we line it up nicely. Let's press that down. Hot. Before you stick it down, just make sure you give the area a good clean, so the pads have got the best chances possible of sticking. And a wee bit of pressure, just never does any harm. And you can see that the camera is adjustable for height here, and that wee screw you just tighten up once you've got it in the right place. Okay, so we're back at the front of the bike now, so we've got the rest of the connections here. So the controller is already connected up and power is already connected up. So you should have front and rear left. So what we're going to do is take the one that says rear that we've just attached on, and as you'd imagine, connect that into the rear connection. It can only go in one way. And then there's a wee screw there, so you just tighten that up and that creates a waterproof connection. Easy enough. Let's get the front one done. Right, hope you can see this okay. My bike is a Honda CB500X that's got a small beak on it. So my intention is to put the camera at the front of the beak just there. I've got crash bars as well, so I can't put it too far back because it'll hit the crash bar. So what I've had to do, because this has got a slight curved tip, I've taken the mount and I've bent it very slightly just to give a better angle on it. So we'll heat that up and we'll get that stuck on there. And just the same, we connect front to front and tighten up. Okay, so that's us now got power, rear, controller and front all connected up. So in theory everything should be working, so let's have a look. Right, so what we've got now, we press playback, it loads up this screen here. You can press video and it shows you all the video files that have been recorded. So that's the front camera looking forward, and just my rubbish, it's angled obviously because I don't know why it's angled, I need to look into that. The bike's not angled because it's on a centre stand, so I wonder if that rotates. It would make sense if it was on a side stand, but it's not. Right, anyway, right, so that's that one. That's the rear camera looking at the back of my shed at my daughter's bike there. So both cameras are working. Photos, you can of course take photos as well, but this is just the playbacks. You can see the disc icon telling you you've got a, what do you call it, memory card in, and it said they started recording. I keep forgetting it's only this wee section that you move, it's not the whole screen. Seems to be a bit of a waste of space if you ask me. I mean, what's the point of having this wee picture of the bike here when then you're only using like half the screen? Seems to defeat the purpose for me. Audio output, that's if you want to connect up for a Bluetooth. From experience, my CarPlay ride is not very good if you connect that to an earpiece, so we'll try this one at a later date and see how it does. And then of course, back to home. So if we look at the controllers, this might give us an idea now what we can do. So, right, that's that top button. Flicks you onto the rear camera. I wonder if that's just kind of the last action. That button there is taking a photo. And we've got the home button just to bring us back to the home screen for Android Auto. So, okay, first glance at everything works. Brightness can be adjusted. What's that for? Oh, there's your split view front and rear cameras. Okay, right, so what we'll do, we're in a bit of a pig's ear just now with cables. We'll get this connected up, we'll find an accessory cable that I can run this to and tidy everything up, and then we'll get out on the bike. That's probably not going to be today. By the time I got all that done, it'll be another day. So next time you see this, don't know when it will be, but this should be all tidied up, and we'll get out for a ride. But at first glance, looks alright. The cameras record in high definition and are perfectly adequate for use as a dash cam. You can see from this still image that the number plate of the vehicle is clear, so if you had to use that for insurance purposes or provide it to the police, it would certainly be of value. Overall, I'm quite impressed with the quality of the cameras. Not up to the level of a GoPro or an action camera as you would expect, but that's not their intended use. Now we have the view from the rear camera looking backwards. You'll note that the number plate of the vehicle behind me here is reversed. I don't know why that is, probably could be amended in a software update, but you can still clearly read the number plate when the car gets a bit closer to you. So again, if you were to be involved in a collision with a vehicle hitting you from the back, you can certainly get a clear view of the number plate and potentially the driver as well, depending on the position in the sun. Okay, a few weeks have passed and I've been using the Lamtto RC12 on the bike quite a lot now. Unfortunately, the weather has been atrocious these last few weeks, so I don't have any footage of me riding with the device on the bike, unfortunately. But what I can tell you is because it's rained so much, it has been completely waterproof and I've had no issues with it at all. It's worked absolutely flawlessly. I have been using my leather gloves, my summer gloves, and I'm able to change the screen and swipe and press the buttons on the screen with no issues at all. It all works absolutely fine. With it being an Android Auto or an Apple CarPlay device, it functions based on the apps that you have on your phone. So everyone's user experience will be slightly different because not everybody uses exactly the same apps. I use the app Scenic for my sat nav and it's been fine. I also use Apple Music to listen to music, and I've had no issues with either of those. It all works perfectly fine. It has also worked with Google Maps. I've tried that and there's been no issues either. So the good points: it's quite a light device. With it on the handlebars, I didn't notice any kind of odd effect with being some extra weight on one side. It was absolutely fine. With it being wired into the bike as well, as soon as you turn the ignition on and the electrics come on, the device automatically starts up and it pairs onto a phone automatically. So for easy use, 100%, very easy and no issues whatsoever. I was very happy with it. The quality of the screen is really good. In low light conditions, it's very bright. And also there's not really any glare to speak of coming off of it. I haven't had any issues, but then I've not had bright sunshine to deal with these last couple of weeks, so we need to see how that goes for reflections. The quality of the screen is very high, really good resolution, everything's nice and crisp and clear. A couple of things I wasn't so keen on was the screen was a wee bit small for me at 5.5 inches. Sometimes I was pressing a button and I was missing the icon just because they're quite small, and the text sometimes was quite hard to read, again with it being so small. But other than that, there was no real concerns to speak of. I would prefer a different mount, or maybe an accessory to mount it onto a sat-nav bar. As I mentioned in my earlier bit in the video, I like to have it positioned above my speedometer, just simply because it's in my eye line and it's easy to see. So if you are looking for a device that's going to give you sat-nav and music and ability to make phone calls and send messages and things, and you don't want to have your phone on your handlebars, this is a perfect device for that. Have a look on the website. The prices do change occasionally, so I'm not going to mention what the price is just now, because when you go and look, it's probably going to be different. If you are interested in getting one of these devices, if you have a look in the description, you'll see some links in there, so follow those links. I'd like to thank Lamtto for sending me this device for review. I'm quite impressed with it. The build quality especially is really good. So if you are looking for something, please do consider this. So thank you very much for watching the video today. Please give me a like and a subscribe. It will help the channel grow. We're on the way to 1,000 subscribers. So every subscription really does help, and I do appreciate your time for watching. So thank you very much for watching today, and as always, ride safe. Take care.